Welcome. Let's begin with the string formatting. First type of string formatting is printf style string formatting, which is similar to the printf statement in the C programming language, in which for each variable data type there is a symbol for it. For example, for integer variable there is a symbol which is a %d. For float it is %f. For capital F, if you want to print this special value of float value such as infinity, positive or negative, and not a number into the uppercase. Okay. S for string. For REPR function it is used R. We will see this function in upcoming session, don't worry about this. Okay. For binary, octal and hexadecimal, B, O and X. Capital X for hexadecimal if you want to print A to F letter into the capital letter. E for exponent, same capital E for if you want to print exponent into the E into the capital E. Okay, so let's begin with the first example. So string formatting is used when a certain part of a string which is variable. So if you want to greet each people with their names, the name part of string is only variable. Okay, so we don't need to write a whole string for each and every time we want to print. So the variable part we will replace with the similar data type of a variable symbol. So in this case the name is containing the string data type, so we will replace the name with %s. So in order to place the value inside the formatted string, we will use string, then after percentage, and after percentage we will provide the variable value which will get replaced with the data type. Okay, so if we execute this, as you can see, the given provided name is replaced with the symbol. Okay, so the benefit is if we provide a different variable value, we will get different string. Okay, but we have used same formatted string. Okay, instead of breaking the string each and every time. Okay, if we don't use the formatted string, we have to sort of break the string into multiple string and again join it. Okay, without that it was not possible earlier. Okay, so with the help of this we will use the same formatted string for any number of variable values. Okay, so for integer type it is used %d. Okay, so if you execute it, as you can see, integer value is replaced with %d. For float, %f. Okay, so this is the one of the special value of float, and if we print with small and capital F, as you can see, it is represented in capital for the capital F. Okay, next topic is we can mix the variable data type into the single formatted string. So suppose this is a multi-statement string we have, in which the person name, interest rate and the duration are the variable value. Okay, so those are of a different type. Name is of string type, interest rate is a float type variable, and the duration is a integer type, suppose. Okay, so we can pass multiple values after the statement and percentage. We need to write it into inside the brackets. Okay, and inside bracket in order of the declaration in the formatted string. So for first argument is a name, so first argument must be here inside the bracket. First name must be the name type, name of the person. Second variable must be interest type, which is type of float value, and third is %d, must be an integer value. So if we execute it, as you can see, all the variable data type are replaced with the given value. Okay. Next thing is to round the given float value up to certain digit. Okay. So inside string formatting, we can provide the number of decimal up to which it must round. So after percentage, point and n is a number of digits. So in this case, if you want to round this given interest rate into the up to 3 decimal places, so we will write percentage dot 3 and f is a type of variable float. Duration will remain as an integer value we will give here. Okay, so if you execute it, it will round the given float value up to 3 decimal places. As we saw earlier, variable type conversion session, so string str method takes any variable type value and which it converts it into the string. That is what happened here. If we provide a percentage s into the formatted string and in the actual value is of type different than this value. Okay, so it will use this str method to convert other type value into the string. Okay, so if we execute this, as you can see, all the variable of different types such as float and integer are implicitly converted using str method. Okay, but for the other data type, for suppose this is a float value, and if we try to print with integer and float value with integer, this is what happens. Okay, so float value is rounded into the integer and integer becomes float, so it will not print as it is. Okay, so if it is given as a string, you are safe. Next topic is dictionary based formatting. So this is the one of the way in which the dictionary in Python is defined. We will see in details later session. For now, you need to know is a dictionary is a key value based data type in which first part is always string and second part may contain any data type. So this is the key and value. So we have two items. First one item is having key interest rate, int rate, and float value. Second one is a duration, which is having integer value. So in order to format that into the format string, we will write after percentage inside brackets the key of the dictionary, and after bracket optionally we can define the variable type in order to give the proper spacing and rounding. Okay, same way for duration, this is the key in the dictionary. After that, we want to give length of decimal or integer to the 2, and after the string we will provide percentage, and after the dictionary variable. Okay, so it will replace the value of a given key with the given data type into the formatted string. So if you execute it, as you can see, it prints as expected result. Okay, because here define up width of the given integer 2, it will append 0 here. Okay, next topic is giving the width of the each variable data type. So sometimes dealing with the console application, you want to print the output in a formatted style. So for each and every variable value, it should be printed into this certain amount of characters. Okay, so for string, suppose this is the values we want to print: name, amount, rate, and years. Okay, so we are restricting here our output to the name must be within the, means it should be at the 12 character long at most. The amount is 15 numbers. The float value is up to 3 decimal places, and string value with integer value with the 2 number length. Okay, so if we execute multiple values all together, as you can see here, for the string and number data type, it will append white spaces before the given value in order to match the given width here. So we are provided 12. In order to match the width, it will prepend the white spaces. So for longer string value, as you can see for the third value, it will prepend less number of white spaces in order to match the given format. Same for the amount, interest rate, and the years also. Okay, so this becomes essential for the console application or printing certain values into the formatted manner. Okay, so this is how we define the width of the given variable. Next is a special characters. As we can see here, hash or the pound sign is used for conversion of integer data type into the octal, binary, and hexadecimal. Plus sign is used for sign character to show the sign of the number into the, even if it is positive, it will show plus sign before the number. Generally it doesn't show the plus sign. For negative, it shows the negative number. This will force to print the sign character. Okay, if 0 is given, it will pad 0 to match the width. Okay, if we given the blank space, it will leave the space for the sign bit. So let's check out the example. So after percentage, we will put hash or pound sign. This is length of the variable, and X for hexadecimal and O for the octal, which will convert the given value integer into the format of octal or the hexadecimal. Okay, next is a sign bit. Okay, so as normally if you print integer, it will not print positive or negative. Okay, so which will create a formatting space difference for negative and positive value. Okay, so one way to avoid is provide a plus sign before the D and after the percentage, which will always print the sign value. Okay, but for positive sign it may look awkward. Okay, so for that we will use the third option to leave a space after percentage and before the D, which will always leave the space, blank space, for the sign bit. Okay, so if it is positive, it will append a one blank space, and if it is negative, it will show the negative sign. So it will not show a deficit of one blank space if we are formatting a positive or negative number such as this. Okay, so without any sign bit or the plus space, it will show one less space for the positive numbers here. Okay, next topic is using format method for the string, which is available from the Python version 2.6 and later. So string object implicitly have, as we saw earlier, other methods also. If we put dot, and if we check it, as you can see here, string object have format method. Okay, internally, which will replace the expression which is written in curly braces inside the string with the given value as an argument to the format method. Okay, so inside curly braces we can provide many things. First is a index of the positional argument. So as we saw earlier, each method takes argument. So first argument is given as a position 0, second is 1, and so on. Okay, so curly braces 0 will be replaced with the first value which is given into the format method. So we will write the formatted string first, then after you will use dot format method, inside which we will provide the sequence of argument which is indexed beginning with the 0. Okay, so if you execute this, as we can see, the first argument will be replaced with the 0 index inside the curly braces. Okay, so indexing is not necessary inside this. So if you don't provide any index inside the formatted string, it will take the given argument inside the format method in the sequence. Okay, so first curly braces will be replaced with the first argument, second will be replaced with second, and so on. Okay, so if you execute without any index, it will look like this. So it will print as expected. Okay, but one of the key benefit of providing index is you can use the same variable value multiple time in any order inside the given formatted string. Okay, so suppose this is our formatted string, for example. If you execute same thing, wherever this index number is occurring, it will access the variable value passed at the index of the format method. Okay, so here, as you can see, it will print those value 3 times. Okay, so that is the main benefit of providing index inside the curly braces. And other thing is that it is not restricted that index in the given formatted string should be in such order. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3 it is not required. You can provide index 2 before index 1 and index 0 after index 1, anyway, anything. Okay, but you need to keep in mind the positional argument you are passing to the format string. Okay, so whichever the index here, this is the first value will be replaced here. Okay, the second value which will be replaced with index 1, and the third value will be replaced with index 2. So in this case we have altered the variable value here, and we have changed the index also. Okay, so in order to demonstrate the index numbers are not rigid inside the formatted string, as you can see, it prints values as expected. Okay, next topic is justifying the width, precision, and the spacing of the given variable type. Okay, so this is the syntax to follow. First we will specify the after value. This is for format, it is index. After index value we will specify colon, and after that these are the optional values. First is a character which justify how this given variable type should be justified: left, right, center justified. Okay, so first we will provide that symbol, after that the width of the given value, and after dot it is a precision, and after that we are providing the variable type such as f, for float, D for integer. Okay, so let's begin with the spaces first. So after this is the index of the first argument, and it is a type of string which contains the width of 7 character. Second is the interest rate, which is having indexed argument 1 of having a value which is rounded up to 2 decimal places, and third argument is a integer which is a width of 2 digit. Okay, so if you execute it, as we can see, for format, the strings are by default left justified and numeric values are by default right justified. As we saw earlier, for printf type it was only right justified, okay, for both strings and numeric value, as we saw earlier. But in this case it is much more clearer. So we know that numeric value for calculation, it should be right justified. Okay, so as you can see here, it is appending one white spaces in order to match the width of the given value. Okay, so this is only, we have given one space only, but it will match the width, it will leave the blank space here. Same for the strings are left justified. In order to match the width, it has left the white spaces. Okay, now we will give justification symbol. Okay, so this is center justified, this is left justified, both are, but this is by default right justified by default. Okay, so if you execute it and if we compare with the earlier, as you can see, string is center justified and both of the other value are as we can see here, it is right justified by default, as I explained. But if we change it, we can make it left justified. Okay, so if we execute it, as you can see, it will leave only one space here. Okay, but it should be left justified or right justified only. Okay, next topic is name field. So instead of providing indexed, we can name the field and we can provide named argument. Okay, keyword argument. In the Python it is called as a keyword argument. In this case we can also pass the dictionary object here also inside the format method. This is also one way of declaring a dictionary. If we remove this format and inside, if we write dictionary dict and inside the square bracket, we can provide the keyword based argument to the dictionary constructor. Okay, we will see in an upcoming session, in the dictionary object session. Okay, so for now we can label that field name with the given argument name, so both name must match. Okay, and here we have provided the width of the variable. Here we will write the variable type 2, and if we execute it as expected, it will replace the given named field with the given value based on the keyword argument. One of the benefit of keyword argument is the order of the argument. order of the argument is not necessary to follow as we saw in indexed argument. So indexed argument must follow the names rigidly. Okay, so if we can pass the keyword based argument in any order, it will not affect the end result. Okay, so that is the main benefit here. Same way we can justify for the name field also. Okay, now in order to convert into octal, binary and hexadecimal, after the indexed position or the named field and colon, we will write B, O and X for binary, octal and hexadecimal respectively. As you can see, it will convert 125 into respective representation. Okay, next topic is third type of print formatting, string formatting, which is F string. Okay, so it simplifies the format method, okay, which is introduced into Python version 3.6 and it is available from 3.6 and later version. So first part of a string is declared with initializing with F, capital or small. Okay, and expressions are written inside the curly braces as we saw earlier in format method. Okay, but it is written differently here. So in order to print curly braces inside the formatted F strings, we can use double curly braces to print single curly braces. Okay, that is an escape character. Okay, so if we want to print curly braces such as this, so instead of taking special meaning of curly braces, it will print string as it is because it is used curly braces 2 times. Okay, so first F string here is we will print a variable value. So suppose variable is having -10 value, and if we want to print it, just we need to write that variable name inside the curly braces and make normal string an F string by appending small or capital F before the string. Okay, so if you execute it, as you can see, it replaces that variable value. This is quite a handy way of string formatting. As intuitive as it is, we are using the same variable name defined in the Python module. Okay, same for second value 25, it will replace it. Okay, we don't need to provide any variable type or such thing or index, just providing the variable name which is declared before the given F string gets executed. It will fetch those value and replace it inside the string. Okay, our next topic is justifying or adding spaces or adding the length of the variable. Okay, so as we saw earlier, after the comma we are providing the length for the variable value. So this is the length of whichever the variable data type is held by variable v. So this will be left justified, and second one is using the equals to. So as we saw earlier, what will equal to do is equal to will add padding after the sign bit for numeric value only. Okay, so as we can see here in result, if we pad if you make the width of 10, it will pad white spaces before the given numeric value, and after that sign bit begins and the numeric value. But for calculation, as we know that we put the sign value from in the leftmost side, and then we prepend the white spaces and then the numeric value as we calculate on paper. Okay, so equal to is used for making that format. Okay, now plus, as we saw earlier, it will print the sign of variable always. For positive it will print plus. Okay, for negative it gets printed by default. This is for the length of the variable. Okay, so suppose variable length is 5 and we are providing integer of less length, it will prepend 0 in order to match the length of given integer type. Okay, and if we want to leave space for the sign bit, we need to add space before giving the width of the given integer, otherwise it will not leave a space for the sign bit. Okay, so in this case the format is broken here, but if we leave space before giving width of the given value, it will always leave space for the sign bit in case we are using negative values. Now we will convert integer into binary, octal and hexadecimal simply by after placing B, O and X after the colon. Okay, so if you execute it, 125 is converted into the respective values. Next topic is using app string with multiple variable of different data type. Okay, as we can see here, this is a string using string type, float and integer type. Okay, so we can also provide the variable data type after the colon, given variable name, colon, and after we can provide a width of character, center, justify, width of character, then precision and the data type, same as we saw earlier for the format method. Same can be applied here. Okay, and same is applied here, and this is an example of one such special character, comma. So if it is provided, it will print numeric digit separated by comma according to the given local of the machine. Okay, so how does it look? This is, I think, 1 billion, and it will be converted into the comma separated value. Okay, so if we provide comma before D, so let's execute it. As you can see, it will print comma after given number of digit of format. Okay, so this is, I think, machine default local E and US. For that, it is printing the given number accordingly. Okay, this string is float value is rounded up to 2 decimal places, and integer having width of 2 digit. Now next topic is with the formatted strings, we can write expression inside the curly braces which will be evaluated at runtime. Okay, so if you write 4 into 4, 4 raised to 4, 4 minus 4, it will calculate that expression, which means not the given value, but if we provide two variable also, if we suppose having variable v1 and v2, and we will if we write certain expression inside it, v1 into v2, it will execute that expression and result will be printed at runtime. So as we can see here, we can write little expression within the given formatted string. Okay, so it is just like formula of Excel sheet. All right, the next topic is applying function inside f string. So as we saw earlier, this is expression. The same way, for the given variable, we can invoke method of variable inside the curly braces. Okay, so as we saw earlier, for string method, string object, there is a method called upper which will convert the given string into the uppercase. Okay, so it will be executed as the uppercase. So if we execute it, as we can see, it is formatted up to in given width of 15 characters, left justified by default, and it is converted into the uppercase. Okay, the same way, interest rate is a center justify of length width of 10 digit, and duration is of 12 digit center justified. Okay, so without leaving any space into the formatted string, we have justified the given value. Okay, same way we can print the same thing with multiple value. As you can see here, it looks very clear without even leaving white spaces into the formatted string, just by giving the required amount of width and proper use of justification. Okay, so for the function, you can invoke any function, custom function also you can invoke. Next topic is value conversion. So as we saw earlier, S is for converting string type. So for special character, after the variable name, exclamatory S will use str method, and exclamatory R will use repr method. So for printing the value in Python, there are two methods for each and every data type. Okay, so if we execute it, R will print in the format such that the new object is created like in constructor format. Okay, and this is for the just for printing value purpose, string method. So if we execute for decimal, as we can see here, it will use the string method of a decimal object for this, and repr method prints in this format, which is a constructor and the argument of the decimal class. Okay, that brings us to end of the string formatting. Next topic is string templating. Okay, so in string templating, we are providing the variable names into the identifier. So identifier is defined as a dollar after the variable name, or the dollar inside the curly braces we are defining the identifier. Okay, and that identifier will be replaced when we give that value using substitute method. So substitute method takes mapping, which is a dictionary like object, okay, which will replace the given identifier into the formatted template with the given value. Okay, so before creating a template, we need to import a template class. So from string import template, that will import, and we will create a template using template constructor which takes template string as an input. So we will provide the multi-line input which will this string will create an iCard for the person which is having four variable values: first name, last name, phone number, and blood group. Okay, so same identifier can be defined using curly braces. Okay, so this will create a template object which is called iCard. Okay, on iCard we will use a substitute method, and in substitute method we will provide keyword based argument or the dictionary like object with the all of the identifier as a key. Okay, so for this we will provide the f name, l name, phno, and bg group as a key value. Okay, and key value can be in any order. Okay, so if you execute this, it will return formatted string which with the replaced identifier with the given value. So if we execute it, as you can see, all the given values are replaced with the identifier. Okay, so same template object can be used for many values. Okay, so this is the constructor for the dictionary object. So in this case, dictionary object is constructed. There are two possible ways of constructing same dictionary object, and that same dictionary object can be passed to substitute method. Okay, instead of providing keyword based argument. Okay, so end result will be same. So it is complaining that p1 is okay, so we did not execute this. All right, so as we can see, it will print the formatted string as it is. Okay, so both of them are executed equally. So what happens if we don't provide any keyword based argument? If it is missing, suppose last name, inside substitute method it will raise a key error. Okay, complaining that l name is not defined mapping. Okay, so for that we can use save substitute method which will not raise any error. So even if one of the argument is missing, for that it will print the same identifier without replacing any value, but it will not raise error. Okay, and it is having one attribute called template which will return the original template string which is passed to the template constructor. Okay, as we can see, after creating iCard object, if we write iCard.template, it will return same original string, template string. Okay, so that brings us to end of the video.